And what if that pain you feel isn't just physical? Maybe it didn't originate from a bad movement or the stress of the day. And what if your body is trying to tell you something that your mind has ignored for a long time? There is pain that doesn't come from the body, but from the soul. Symptoms that can't be calmed with a pill because they weren't born in the bones or the skin, but in the deepest part of your emotions. Today you'll discover the hidden language behind your ailments. A silent, yet clear, language, a language not spoken with words but with symptoms. Because when we don't listen to our emotions, the body raises its voice, and the longer we ignore that inner call, the louder it screams. Louise Hay understood this before many. The body screams what the soul keeps silent. Pain in the back that is nothing more than emotional burdens, responsibilities that weigh you down, or the feeling of not having anyone to support you. Stomach problems that don't just come from what you eat, but from what you can't emotionally digest. Experiences, words, betrayals. A tight throat that doesn't hurt from a virus, but from everything you've silenced out of fear, shame, or not wanting to hurt anyone. Knees that hurt not because they are aging, but because you find it hard to give in, you resist change, or you are afraid to move forward. And what if the body was your best friend, trying to protect you all the time? And what if that symptom was an urgent letter from your heart, asking you to look at yourself, to take care of yourself, to embrace yourself? Your body is not wrong, it just wants you to listen. Louise believed that the body is a mirror of our deepest beliefs, emotions, and thoughts. For her, each part of the body reflects a part of our emotional life, and when there is an internal conflict that is not expressed or healed, the body manifests it in the form of a symptom, discomfort, or illness. It's not about seeing it as something magical or esoteric, but as a natural connection between what we feel and how our body reacts. For example, if a person lives constantly with fear, tension, or anger, that emotional state can weaken their immune system, affect their digestion, or cause chronic muscle pain. Louise observed for years the repeated emotional patterns in people with certain physical ailments, and over time she was able to identify a kind of emotional map of the body. For her, negative thoughts held over time create an emotional vibration that ends up lodging in the body if it is not released. And this doesn't mean that one gets sick from thinking badly, but that many times we ignore our emotional wounds, we repress them, we minimize them, and the body with its infinite wisdom becomes a messenger. Louise used to say that you shouldn't blame yourself for getting sick, but quite the opposite, that each symptom is an opportunity to look inward, heal, and begin to speak to ourselves with more love, because the body doesn't get sick just because. Every symptom, every discomfort, every tension has something to tell you. And when you learn to listen to it with love and attention, you discover that behind that pain there is a message. A message that doesn't seek to punish you, but to wake you up. Louise dedicated her life to studying how our deepest emotions can lodge in the body when they are not expressed. She taught us that physical pains are not enemies, but signals, and that by recognizing their emotional origin, we begin a real healing process. Today you are going to discover what maybe no one has explained to you, that your body holds memories, and that behind every pain there is a story waiting to be understood. For a long time we were taught to see the body as something separate from our mind, as if pains were failures, as if getting sick were a betrayal of our own organism. But what if I told you that the body never attacks you? What if instead of fighting with it you started to listen to it? The body is not the enemy, it is your most faithful companion. It has been with you since the first breath, and has done nothing but protect you, support you, and speak to you. When the body hurts, it doesn't do it to punish you, it does it to guide you, to show you that there is something inside that needs attention, care, healing. It's like an emotional compass. When the soul strays, the body lets us know. Louise reminded us that the body is always on the side of life, that even the most annoying symptom is actually an opportunity to reconnect with yourself. So the next time something hurts, don't just ask how to cure it, also ask yourself what it wants to tell me. Because behind every discomfort there is a soft voice that guides you back to yourself. The body doesn't attack you, it guides you, and it does so with a wisdom that we sometimes forget. When you can't take it anymore, when you feel that something weighs inside you and you don't know why, the body speaks, and it does so through pain, tension, and fatigue that doesn't go away even with rest. Think, for example, of back pain. How many times have you felt it as a burden that intensifies when you are stressed, worried, or feeling that everything depends on you? Louise associated that pain with the feeling of a lack of emotional or financial support, with carrying more than you can, with not knowing how to let go. Because we don't just carry backpacks, we carry guilt, expectations, other people's responsibilities, unhealed wounds. And there is the faithful body trying to hold it all with you until it can't anymore. That pain you carry in your back. How long have you been carrying what doesn't belong to you? Digestive problems. Difficulty digesting experiences. Not everything that is difficult to digest enters through the mouth. Sometimes what you can't process is what you have lived. According to Louise Hay, digestive problems such as heartburn, gastritis, irritable bowel syndrome, bloating, or stomach heaviness often reflect an emotional inability to digest certain life experiences. It can be an argument that left you with a knot in your stomach, a betrayal that you still can't assimilate, a situation that generated impotence, fear, or rejection and that you didn't know how to handle at that moment. Your stomach, that sensitive center, receives not only food, but also your most intense emotions. And when you can't accept what happened, when something is emotionally indigestible for you, your body manifests it as physical discomfort. For example, heartburn can represent repressed anger, a rage that burns inside. Inflammation can reflect an accumulation of unexpressed thoughts, anxiety, or contained frustration. Intestinal cramps, the urgent need to go to the bathroom, can be linked to fear, to the urgent need to let go of something that emotionally disturbs you. And most importantly, it's not about blaming yourself, but about understanding yourself, realizing that your body is not failing you, it's trying to help you let go of what your mind still can't process. So if you have been feeling stomach discomfort lately, ask yourself this question with compassion. What experience can I still not digest? What situation is difficult for me to accept, but I continue to keep silent about? Sometimes the first step to healing is not in what you eat, but in what you finally dare to release. Swollen throat, unspoken words, or fear of expressing yourself. The throat is the bridge between what we feel and what we express. It is that sacred channel through which our truths, our needs, our most intimate emotions pass. When the throat gets inflamed, when it hurts, when it closes, it's possible that there isn't just a virus at work, but a contained emotion asking to come out. Louise associated throat problems with unspoken words, truths kept out of fear, and a deep difficulty in expressing oneself freely. How many times have you felt a lump in your throat just when you were about to say something important? How many times did you prefer to be silent, so as not to be a nuisance, to not be rejected, so as not to create conflict? Those words that didn't come out don't disappear, they get trapped inside, and sometimes the body transforms them into inflammation, into pain, into hoarseness. There are also cases in which we speak, but we don't say what we really feel. We express ourselves from the surface, from duty, from I must look good, but not from authenticity. And the body knows it, the throat feels it. The fear of speaking, the fear of showing ourselves as we are, is usually very present in those who have been judged, silenced, or emotionally invalidated at some point in their lives. And the thing is, when we learn from a young age that it's better to be silent, our body becomes the only space where that silenced truth continues to scream. So if your throat has been hurting lately, if you feel it closing when you want to say what you think, ask yourself with tenderness, what truth am I hiding? To whom am I saying yes when inside I would like to say no? What parts of me are still afraid of being hurt? Healing the throat is not just about drinking a hot tea, it's also about starting to speak to yourself with honesty, to express what you feel without guilt, to give yourself permission to be a voice and not just an echo. Rigid knees, pride, fear of giving in or moving forward. The knees are a symbol of movement, of progress, of flexibility in the face of life's changes. They are what allow us to walk with firmness, to adapt, to bend when necessary, and to move forward. But when the knees hurt, when they become rigid, when they resist movement, maybe it's not just a physical issue. Louise taught that problems in the knees often reflect pride, fear of giving in, or difficulty in moving forward. There are moments in life when we know we must change course, leave a stage behind, let go of a relationship, make an important decision. But fear sets in, the ego resists, and the idea of bending to reality seems unbearable to us. Giving in doesn't always feel like an act of wisdom, sometimes it is perceived as a defeat. And moving forward is scary when we don't know what awaits us on the other side. Then the knees, those allies of movement, become tense, they get blocked and they force us to stop, not as a punishment, but as a signal, as a silent way of telling us, there is something inside you that you are still not willing to let go of. Maybe you find it hard to forgive, or ask for help, or recognize that you can no longer continue on the path you were on. And that which you cannot accept manifests itself in the form of rigidity. So if you feel pain or tension in your knees, stop for a moment, breathe and ask yourself, where in my life am I resisting moving forward? What am I afraid of? In what situation do I refuse to be flexible? Out of pride, control, or fear of change? Healing is not becoming weak. Healing is learning to flow, to let go of the weight of should be, and to continue walking from the heart. Headache is the center of thought, of decisions, of ideas. The head is the center of thought, of decisions, of ideas. It is where we accumulate worries, responsibilities, demands, and many times where we disconnect from what we really feel. Louise said that headaches, especially frequent or tension headaches, usually have an emotional root. The excess of control, self-demands, constant self-criticism, and the need to have everything under control when we want to do everything perfectly, when we feel that we cannot fail, when our mind doesn't stop analyzing, anticipating, calculating, solving. The pressure doesn't just stay in the thoughts, it accumulates, it tenses up and ends up bursting in the form of pain. It's as if the mind says, I can't take so much anymore. The headache can also be related to a disconnection from the heart, living too much from duty, from the rational, from external expectations, and forgetting what you really want, what is good for you. Sometimes the head hurts because you are ignoring your intuition, or because you are forcing yourself to make decisions that are not aligned with your soul. And that internal inconsistency manifests itself in the form of tension. So if you have had headaches lately, maybe the body is asking you for only one thing: to slow down, to let go of the demands, to turn off the mental noise, and to listen to what you really need. Ask yourself with love, what am I trying to control excessively? In what area of my life am I demanding more than I can give? Am I living from my mind or from my heart? Healing is also resting. It is allowing yourself not to have all the answers. It is remembering that you don't have to do everything perfectly to be enough. Neck-related emotion, mental rigidity, stubbornness, persistence to see other points of view. The neck is the point of union between the mind and the body. It is a transition zone, of connection, of mobility, and when it tenses up or hurts, the message is usually clear. There is rigidity, resistance, or fear of change. Louise Hay associated neck pain with stubbornness, inflexible thinking, and the difficulty of seeing things from another perspective. It's as if the mind clings to a single way of understanding life and refuses to consider other paths, other truths, other possibilities. Have you recently felt trapped in a fixed idea? Do you feel that you need to be right, even if it is costing you peace? The neck also has a very powerful symbolic function. It allows us to look to the sides, and when it hurts, it may be reflecting a difficulty in looking at the past with compassion or at the future with hope. Sometimes we don't want to see what was because of pain, or we avoid looking at what is coming because of fear. It can also reflect a resistance to the present. That feeling of being trapped between what no longer works and the new that has not yet arrived. When we don't want to see, when we don't want to change, when we don't want to give in, the neck hardens because our interior has also done so. So if you are feeling cervical discomfort, neck stiffness or tension in that area, pause and ask yourself with sincerity, in what part of my life am I being too rigid? What am I clinging to that no longer serves me? What possibility am I refusing to look at? Healing the neck is not just about stretching or massaging it, it is also about opening the mind, softening judgment, and allowing yourself to see with more love what life is showing you. Mouth sores, canker sores, tension, related emotion, unspoken words, bitterness, contained anger. The mouth is the space where the voice takes shape. It is the place through which we express what we feel, what we think, what we need, but it is also where we keep what we didn't dare to say. Louise associated problems in the mouth, such as canker sores, jaw tension or unconscious biting, with unspoken words, contained anger and accumulated bitterness. Sometimes we are silent, out of fear of being rejected, other times for not hurting others, and many times because we feel that what we have to say is not valid, does not matter or will not be heard. But those words do not disappear. They get trapped inside like fire, with no way out, and end up burning, irritating, hurting. The sores, for example, can appear when we have emotionally bitten ourselves, when something has deeply bothered us, and we haven't said it, when we have swallowed a situation that seemed unfair, hurtful or abusive to us, when we pretend to be okay, while something inside us screamed. There are also past rages that were never processed, old pains that were disguised as silence, and repressed emotions that are still looking for a way out. And the body once again becomes the spokesperson for what the soul still couldn't release. So if you have been feeling discomfort in your mouth lately, ask yourself with tenderness, what am I keeping silent about? What hurts me so much that I can't say it out loud? Where do I keep anger, sadness or frustration so as not to bother anyone? Healing the mouth is much more than relieving a symptom. It is trusting your voice again. It is giving yourself permission to speak your truth without guilt and without fear, because your truth does not hurt when it is born from the heart, and when you learn to express it, your body finally rests. Constipation, related emotion, retaining emotions, clinging to the past, fear of letting go. The body has its own rhythms, its own cycles of flow and release, and when something gets stuck in it, it's because something has also gotten stuck inside. According to Louise Hay, constipation is not just a physical difficulty, it is a very clear emotional signal. You are retaining, you are clinging to old emotions, to repetitive thoughts, to situations that should have already left, but that you still carry inside. It is the result of not letting go. Not letting go of a relationship that no longer nourishes you. Not letting go of guilt that has served its time. Not letting go of control, the past, the fear of change. And the thing is that many times we are afraid to empty ourselves, because we unconsciously believe that if we let go, we will be left with nothing, without that story, without that role, without that person. But the body knows it. For the new to enter, the old must first be released. When you cling to what no longer serves you, what you do is block the natural flow of life, and your body reflects it as a sign of congestion, tension, overload. Constipation can also be linked to the need to control everything, to contain everything, to not show vulnerability, as if even your emotions had to be perfectly ordered before being released. But healing does not happen in control. Healing happens in surrender, in saying, I don't need to carry this anymore. So if you are going through this discomfort, see it as an opportunity for inner listening, and ask yourself with compassion, what part of me is resisting letting go? What am I holding on to out of fear of losing? Can I allow myself to empty myself to be filled with life again? Remember, letting go is not losing. Letting go is allowing your body and soul to finally breathe in peace. Dizziness, related emotion, lack of stability, feeling out of control, excess of demands. Dizziness is not always just physical. Sometimes it is the clearest reflection of a life that is going too fast, and a mind that can no longer sustain so many demands at the same time. According to Louise Hay, dizziness is related to a feeling of lack of inner stability, with the fear of losing control, and with the exhaustion caused by living with constant self-demands. When everything spins on the outside, duties, decisions, problems, pending tasks, it also begins to spin on the inside. And the body, wise as always, tells us, stop, you can't hold it all. Dizziness appears as a sign that you are disconnected from your center, as if your soul were telling you, you have been too focused on the external, on pleasing, on fulfilling, on resisting, and you have forgotten your axis. It can also arise when you are facing many changes at once, when you don't know which path to choose, or when you feel that you are losing control over an important situation. It's as if the world is spinning, and you can't find where to stand firm. And in the middle of that vertigo, what the body needs is not more struggle, but a pause. It's not more control, but trust. So if you have recently felt dizzy, sensations of instability, or disconnection from yourself, pause, breathe and ask yourself, am I trying to control everything around me? Am I demanding more of myself than my soul can sustain? At what point did I stop being in my center to survive from haste? Returning to balance doesn't always require medicine. Sometimes all you need is to return to yourself, regain your rhythm, and allow yourself to rest without feeling guilty, because you didn't come to prove anything. You came to live from peace. Bones, related emotion, internal structure, security, stability. The bones are the most solid structure of the body. They are the pillars that support us, that allow us to stand, move and move forward. And when something hurts in them, when there is weakness, rigidity, or bone fragility, it is not always just a physical problem. Louise taught that bones represent our internal structure, our deepest beliefs, and that feeling of security, stability in life. When the bones weaken or hurt, it can be a sign that we feel insecure, unstable or unsupported, as if the emotional foundations that should sustain us have wavered. It can be the loss of a relationship, a job, a stage of life, something that was part of your structure, and that is no longer there. There is also pain in the bones, when you have demanded too much of yourself, when you have carried burdens that do not belong to you for years, when you have been the support of everyone except yourself. The bones also reflect the degree of self-worth we give ourselves. Do you feel like you are enough? Do you feel that you can handle life? Or do you believe that at any moment everything will collapse? When that inner structure is in conflict, the body expresses it with pain, fractures, tension or rigidity. And it's not to punish you, it's to tell you, rebuild your foundations from self-love. So if you are feeling bone discomfort, wear and tear, or fragility, ask yourself these questions with honesty. Do I feel supported by life? Am I building a solid emotional structure? Or does everything depend on the external? In what part of my life do I need to create stronger foundations? From respect and self-affirmation. Remember, bones don't just support your body, they also reflect how you are supporting yourself inside. Feet, related emotion, fear of moving forward, insecurity about the future, resistance to taking the next step. The feet connect us to the earth. They are our base, our first point of contact with the world, and symbolically they represent the path we travel, the decisions we make, and the direction in which we move. Louise associated problems in the feet with the fear of moving forward, insecurity about the future, and resistance to taking the next step. When the feet hurt, get inflamed or tense up, it can be a sign that a part of you doesn't feel ready for what is to come. Maybe there are doubts. Maybe there is fear of making a mistake, of losing control, of leaving something behind that, although it hurts,
is known, and there are the feet trying to support you, but also reflecting that internal conflict between moving forward and staying put, as if every step hurt, not just in the body, but also in the soul. Sometimes it's not about big decisions. Sometimes that pain appears because you haven't allowed yourself to take a small step that your heart already needed. Setting a limit, changing direction, starting something new, saying yes, or saying no. The feet can also speak of a disconnection from your purpose. When you don't know where you are going, or when you walk in a direction that doesn't resonate with your truth, your body feels it, because moving without meaning also weighs you down. So if you have recently felt discomfort in your feet, ask yourself with tenderness, what am I afraid of if I take the next step? Am I moving towards something I really want, or just surviving? Can I trust that the path will be revealed, step by step, if I dare to move from the heart? Remember, you don't need to have everything clear to start. Sometimes it's enough to take a small step for life, to start moving with you. Does any of this pain resonate with you? Maybe that symptom is not there to annoy you, but to speak to you. Maybe your body is not asking for medicine, it is asking for attention. The path to inner healing. Healing is not just something stopping hurting. Healing is returning to inhabit yourself. It is reconnecting with your body, not as an enemy, but as a sacred ally, because your body has been with you through everything. It has held your tears, it has sustained your silences, it has carried your burdens without complaining. And even today, despite the fatigue, it continues to show you the way in its own way. Louise Hay talked about the importance of speaking lovingly to the body, of treating it with the same tenderness with which you would speak to a child who needs comfort, of finally stopping criticizing it, comparing, demanding things from it, and beginning to listen to it. Have you ever stopped to thank your body for supporting you every day? Have you said thank you to your legs for taking you where you are? Have you caressed your abdomen, not to judge it, but to honor what it holds, what it feels, what it tries to release? Healing is starting to speak to your body with love, not with fear, not with guilt, not with demands, but with love. Because when you speak to it with compassion, the body relaxes and can begin to let go. You can start today. Close your eyes, place your hands on the area that bothers you the most, and softly repeat, thank you for showing me what I need to heal. Thank you for supporting me. Even when I didn't. I'm here, I see you, I hear you. And from today on, I will treat you with love. That is the medicine that no one ever taught us. Because the body heals faster when it feels love. Example of affirmations, phrases that not only calm the mind, but also gently reprogram the beliefs we carry inside. They are conscious declarations of self-love and healing, capable of transforming the relationship we have with our body and with ourselves. Each affirmation is a seed of change that, repeated with presence, can open internal spaces of light, understanding, and relief. It's not about repeating for the sake of repeating, but about feeling each word as an act of deep self-care. Because when we change our internal dialogue, we also begin to change the way the body responds. I am safe. I release fear and allow myself to move forward with confidence. My body is my ally. I thank it for showing me what I must heal. I let go of the need to control. I trust in the process of life. I deserve to feel good. I deserve to live in peace, with lightness and love. I listen to the messages of my body with respect and without judgment. Every part of me is full of wisdom. I am willing to heal from within. Your body doesn't punish you, it guides you. Although it sometimes hurts, although you don't understand it immediately, every symptom, every tension, every discomfort is a silent language that comes from the deepest part of you, and it is not there to make you suffer, but to show you what needs to be attended to, recognized, released. Because behind every pain, there is a story, an emotion that was not said, a wound that was not closed, and swallowed it all that got stuck somewhere inside you.
Yeah.
And when your soul can't take the weight anymore, it's the body that says, "Look at me, there is something you need to feel."
Yes.
Healing is not reaching a perfect destination
Yes.
where everything works. Healing is not curing yourself to go back to being the same as before. Healing is looking at yourself with more love than you have ever given yourself. It is letting go of the fight against yourself and starting to walk to the rhythm of your truth. It is listening to yourself. It is supporting yourself. It is giving yourself permission to feel without judging yourself, and above all, it is remembering that you are not broken. You are in process, and that you don't need to rush. Just be present with yourself. So embrace yourself. Honor everything you have carried. Thank your body for being so honest with you.
Yes.
Even when you weren't listening to yourself. Make your own presence a safe haven.
Yes.
Because healing is not a goal to be reached. Healing is a path. A loving return to yourself. Again and again. Thank you for getting this far, for giving yourself this space to listen to yourself, to feel, and to begin or continue your path of inner healing. If this message resonated with you, if you felt that your body also wanted to be heard, I invite you to share it in the comments. I would love to read you and accompany you in this process step by step with love. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with someone who also needs this soft voice to remind them that they are not alone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting in yourself. And thank you for allowing yourself to heal. I send you a very strong hug, full of tenderness and presence. See you in the next video.
The inseparable connection between mind and body. The text we analyze delves into a fundamental truth that modern medicine has begun to validate. The body and mind aren't separate entities, but a unified system. Your thoughts and emotions aren't abstract. They have a real, measurable biochemistry. Every time you experience stress, joy, fear, or love, your body registers it. The brain releases hormones like cortisol and adrenaline in moments of stress, preparing the body for a fight or flight response. If this state of alert is chronically maintained, these hormones can cause inflammation, weaken the immune system, and affect the digestive and circulatory systems. Similarly, positive emotions like gratitude and happiness trigger the release of serotonin and oxytocin, which have calming and healing effects. Understanding this biochemical connection is key to understanding why a broken heart can manifest as chest pain, or why a persistent worry can cause tension headaches. Physical symptoms are often the manifestation of an emotional imbalance or a sign that your nervous system is overloaded. The secret language of hidden emotions. The original text explored the language of some specific symptoms, like back pain and digestive issues. We can expand this emotional map of the body to include other key points that speak to us in a symbolic language: shoulder and neck pain. This is often associated with the feeling of supporting others or carrying external responsibilities on your own shoulders. If you feel like the weight of the world is on you, your body will manifest it as stiffness and pain in this area. It's not just a posture problem, it's an indication that you need to let go of that burden and ask for help. Vision problems. Our eyes allow us to see the world. When vision problems arise, such as nearsightedness or farsightedness, they can reflect a fear of what is to come in the future, inability to see far, or a resistance to seeing the present, as it is difficulty seeing up close. Symbolically, it's a message that you need to open your eyes to a truth you are refusing to face, or a reality you are resisting. Ankle problems. Our ankles give us stability when we walk and allow us to move forward. Pain or an injury in this area can be linked to a lack of flexibility to move through life, or a resistance to taking a new direction. It's often a symptom of a fear of taking the next step in a relationship, career, or life situation. Every symptom is a messenger, not a punisher.